Hello, my name is Hannah Swanek, and today I'll be talking to you about the impact of sexual education curriculum revision on high school students based on their perception of quality. Some background information. In the United States, the rates of sexually transmitted infections, also known as STIs, have continued to rise in persons aged 15 to 24. There is currently no national curriculum mandate for public schools in regard to sexual education curriculum. Education is a state right, and large variations are found in the context of curriculum regarding sexual education. Based on current sexual education practices, evidence has found that abstinence-only education, as well as abstinence-only until marriage education, is unsuccessful at delaying sexual debut and is unsuccessful at providing informed contraception use. Other groups who face increased risk of STIs and unintended pregnancy include bisexual and heterosexual men, as well as gay and bisexual women. These groups also face increased risk of stigmatization. Some interventions that have been shown to increase satisfaction in sexual education are education that explores gender, STI knowledge, and healthy relationships, as well as communications. This type of education has shown to reduce STI rates, as well as reduce the incidence of unintended pregnancy among adolescents. We also know that adolescents' motivation for sex is pleasure, and this is not currently addressed in current education standards that vary by state. The objective of this research is to propose implementing educator training using new curriculum standards and evaluate their effectiveness on students ages 14 to 18. Then, we will record the perceived quality of sexual education from these students. To evaluate this curriculum reform, we will be using Larabee's model for evidence-based change. The first step will be to assess the need for change in practice, which we have done by evidenced STI rates and student satisfaction, which is reported to be low in current sexual education standards. Step 2 is to locate the best evidence by doing a lit review and citing reputable sources. Step 3 would be to critically analyze evidence, which shows gaps in current sexual education methods, as well as the need for comprehensive education, especially in LGBTQ individuals. Step 4 would be to design and practice this change, which would be to update the curriculum based on these newfound standards. Step 5 would be to implement and evaluate the change in practice, so we would use this new curriculum and gather feedback from students based on their satisfaction and perceived results. If this change is successful, we will move to Step 6, which is to integrate and maintain this change in current and future practice. The results of these educator training classes will be evaluated using the Center for Disease Control's, or the CDC's, standards for sexual education, along with feedback from students' ability to satisfy their own personal goals of sexual education. Surveys will be completed by students before class and after the educator class to evaluate the effectiveness of this intervention. Additionally, surveys will be completed by age cohort and anonymous report. If this proposed intervention of curriculum reform is effective, this program could result in an increased student and educator confidence in the perceived quality of sexual education. Thank you for listening to my presentation today. If you have any questions or would like to know more, please feel free to reach out to me via email. My email is hswanek3597@westfield.ma.edu.